Herald, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about subnet 69. Thanks for coming, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, we're talking about subnet 69. We're talking about something that we've never done before, which is a DSV subnet. We've never had a subnet before. We've talked about it. We've probably talked about it for 12 months. Why we'd have a subnet, whether it's the right thing to do to have a subnet. And we decided that it was the right thing for us to do. And I want to talk to you about why it's the right thing for us to do, why it's the right thing for us to do now, what Herald, the name of the subnet, is going to do. As you can see here, it is going to be the front door between Bittensor and the world's press. That's how we're going to position this. And the reason why it's the right thing for us to do is because there are a finite number of tau, 21 million tau, that's it. But there's only, right now, 128 subnet slots. And at DSV, the thing that we're always trying to do is the right thing for our investors, which means increasing the amount of tau that we have and we hold on their behalf so that their investment becomes more valuable in tau terms than it was when they came into the fund. And we believe that by owning a subnet, we're going to be able to increase the amount of tau, and the subnet is going to be a key part of that. The value of a subnet, I think, is going to increase over time, even if the number of subnets increases, as it will. I think we'll see that, and I think we'll see a lot of other changes as well. But then owning the subnet also puts us in a very, very interesting position where we have a reasonable degree of faith that the subnet owner isn't going to dump the token. It's not guaranteed, but a reasonable degree of faith that we're going to do the right thing for us and our investors. So that puts us in a very, very different frame of mind to if we were investing in another subnet. And the coming into what the subnet is going to do, the challenge, the problem, is that really there is no marketing engine for Bittensor. There is nobody else really putting on events like this. There's nobody else that is promoting Bittensor. There's no single organization that is taking Bittensor and pushing it out into the world. There are other people doing marketing-y things for Bittensor, and we had Bitcast up on stage just before lunch, and I think Bitcast are fantastic. Love those guys, love what they're doing, but to great degree, most of the marketing that happens in Bittensor is marketing to Bittensor. So it turns Bittensor into an echo chamber where the people who are doing the marketing are in Bittensor, and the people that they are talking to, their audience, are also in Bittensor. No one's really taking that extra step and pushing subnets or the network as a whole out into the real world. This sort of event has a drop in the ocean effect, really. But there are a lot of people that have got no idea. You go right back to the start of today and Siam talking about Bitcoin, there are a lot of people still that don't really know what Bitcoin is, that don't really understand it, that have never invested in it. And you saw his slide with all of the dots on it and the tiny little Bittensor dot. And no one's doing anything about that. What we're waiting for is this kind of Hail Mary subnet that's going to come and everyone's suddenly going to understand what that subnet does, but they're not really going to understand what Bittensor is. And what we're trying to do with Herald is be the marketing engine for Bittensor and for Bittensor subnets. And we could do that without being a subnet. But I think that being a subnet is the superpower for this operation, because I'm a huge believer in the incentive mechanism of Bittensor and how, if you get that right, you're going to get better results out of any organization if you've clearly defined the incentive mechanism and the objective for your miners than you would do with almost anything else. There's no other structure that allows you to achieve an objective, to solve for an objective as simply and as clearly and as effectively and as efficiently as the Bittensor incentive mechanism, which is why it's important for this to be a subnet. The reason why subnets don't really do a huge amount of marketing, I think, is twofold. One, they don't really know where to turn to. They don't really know who they're going to talk to push out their marketing. So they turn to the people who understand what it is that they're trying to achieve, who understand what Bittensor is. It's a natural reaction. Rather than try and explain Bittensor to somebody that's new, you go and explain it to somebody that already understands. So they look inside. And the second reason, I think, is because they're cash poor. They've got a lot of alpha. They've got alpha that's coming into those owner wallets every single day, but they do not have a lot of cash to go and employ all the people that they want to employ, to go and take all the media space that they want to take out the big adverts, and they just don't have the budget for that. Maybe some of that is they don't have the budget to bring the people into the team who are going to think about that. So they focus more on dev, focus more on actually building the subnet out than getting the message out. What we're going to do is we are going to make Bittensor press coverage a provable, mineable asset. And it needs to be provable and mineable in order to deserve the subnet and in order to harness that incentive mechanism. How it works is we're going to have clients that are going to fund briefs. They're going to pay us for coverage. We're going to find a story. They're going to give us a story. Here's what we're doing. We want to get this out into the world. We are going to pay our miners. We're going to reward the miners for landing articles, for getting that story into global media. And then we're going to use the validators, the validator mechanism that's built into Bittensor, to prove that that story has got into the right places and that it has stayed there. So we're not going to pay out as soon as it hits. It's going to get paid out over 30 days. So it's a vested reward so that it is very, very difficult to game. I'm not going to say it's impossible to game because miners are a canny bunch. What we have got for this subnet isn't just hopes and dreams. We have already talked to some people that have got relationships, that have got experience, that know what they're doing, that are going to come on board as miners as soon as we launch and are going to be able to carry that message out into the world. We've got some really, really good ones lined up. I'm really, really excited about bringing them into Bittensor. We've been talking to them about how it's going to work for them, how it's going to work for subnets. They're very, very excited about it. And it needs to be verifiable. Otherwise, the thing with an incentive mechanism is everything needs to be defined. And we've put quite a lot of work into how this is going to work. Articles need to be published online. We need to be able to see where they are published. I don't want to turn this into something that's technical. We need to be checking the tier of the outlet. So some outlets, some publications matter more than other local or niche publications. We check that that story remains there over the 30-day vesting window, and then we pay out to the miners only if that coverage stays live. A question on the gaming. The first question really is, well, as a miner, I'm just going to turn up and I'm going to say, I'm going to try and get this story into these 100 well-known publications, and then if one of them runs the story, that miner's going to be expecting the reward. So we solve that by using the commit reveal, where the miner says, I am going to push it out to these publications, to these websites, and then only when it's been published to those, and we can verify exactly who deserves the credit, do we push those mining rewards in that direction. Media for equity is an interesting play here because, like I said earlier, subnets are cash poor but alpha rich. And one way through DSV that we've solved that for subnets over the last 18 months is we've done OTC deals with them where we give them, usually tau, but occasionally dollars, in exchange for alpha. So we'll take their biggest, most significant asset off them. They've got loads of it, and we'll give them what they need to pay the bills and keep the lights on. The reason that they're not going to traditional PR agencies and paying $10,000, $20,000 a month retainers, or paying for someone to go and get stories out there, is because they would need to do that usually in dollars or pounds, and they're not able to use their alpha. Pulling Herald into DSV allows them to pay in alpha, and we will cover the hard costs of running the subnet in USDC. So we will take the alpha in, effectively meaning that they can use the thing that they've got lots of. We pull that alpha into DSV's portfolio, and it works for everybody. We have this kind of micro OTC deal. So at DSV, we'd be acquiring that alpha at a discount, and then we would be delivering the catalyst, which would be running their story through our media engine, Herald, and then I would expect that the alpha would increase in value. Partly because they'd only be working with Herald if they had a story to tell. So we'd be acquiring the alpha of those subnets at a time when they have an untold story. James was on stage earlier. Josh was on stage. They both gave us as an audience significant alpha. They told us about stuff that they had got coming up in their subnets. And if that story goes out, that there's $100,000 of buybacks over 8 weeks, that there's a huge data center running on renewable energy, once that's out, I expect to see alpha prices reprice. And we would be taking alpha into DSV before that story goes out. So we'd get the double whammy on it. And then we're not just going to focus, we're not just going to be part of the echo chamber issue here. What we're going to do is we're going to go and find stories from everywhere else. Because PR is a bit hit and miss. I know so many business owners that have spent money on PR and not really had anything to show for it. The beauty of the miner validator mechanism in a subnet is that you're able to be very, very specific about where the value is coming from and that the value has been created, which changes the game a little bit for PR. So I expect to be able to go and find clients for Herald that are not Bittensor subnets. That might be our first step into this world, but that's not going to be the end goal. The end goal is to go and get lots of clients and have them pay for Herald to use the Bittensor miners to go and get stories out there for lots of people. And that's going to mean funds coming into Bittensor. We're going to go and bring capital into this ecosystem, and we become something of an on-ramp. The tiers for miners, if you get something into something that's local, if you get something that's into a trade magazine that's got 42 subscribers, we're not going to value that the same as we would getting something into Yahoo Finance. And there are different tiers, and we've explored that quite a lot. When we haven't got lots of clients, we're going to use the miners to promote Bittensor and perhaps to promote DSV as well. So we'll be using the network that we build to promote the whole protocol, because we are great believers in a rising tide floats all boats. The best thing for DSV is more people discovering Bittensor. Even if there are people here today that think, yeah, do you know what? I really like those subnets. I really like this Bittensor thing. I'm going to buy into Bittensor. I'm going to buy some tau. That's helpful for DSV, even if you decide against becoming a DSV investor. Same thing here. If we can get Bittensor stories out, then that's a win for DSV. Where we are right now, we own the subnet. We bought the subnet back in May. We've got some miners lined up. I'd say that we've probably got about 6 miners lined up, ready to go. The subnet is 90% built from a technical perspective. And we've got some test pilots underway where it's Josh that we're actually working with. We're going to get some stories out and about green compute, subnet 110, just so that we can prove to other subnets and to a world beyond Bittensor that we can get stories placed in media. We're going to be the owner, we're not the operator of this. We're going to be the owner of this subnet. So in summary, we're going to help subnets to promote themselves. We're going to pull more eyeballs into Bittensor. We're going to unlock the value of alpha that is just sat there in owner wallets for those subnets. We're going to start pulling some of that alpha into DSV's portfolio. We are going to be able to control one of the subnets as DSV, super scarce resource, only 128 of them. And in controlling it ourselves, we protect DSV investors from holding an asset that gets dumped because we're in control of it. That is Herald. What do you think? I'll take that.